season, mate, really. Just been chipping away, improving each week, and we're going to see the final product today, I think. The boys
I'm a bit disappointed. Myself, obviously, got time to get back in this year. You had an injury at the start of the season. I think it was round one. Round one. And you've had to sit the rest of the season out today, and then you're not here, but obviously you're here supporting the team. So how's it been for you, mate?
Personally, it's been hard, Been hard because the goal was to come back here to Ballina, finish where it all started with Jesco and a few of the boys, some of my closest mates. Bring Timmy Cassidy and a few of the boys down from the coast as well to have a run and experience the club down here and the comp. So yeah, it's a bit tough not being there on the last day today of the season, but hung around and helped the boys out during the year with the young halves that we got, Hamish and Lofty. So help where I can, man, and yeah.
So what does it mean for you, mate, for your footy career? How's it looking for Ali Grant moving forward?
Never say never, Benji, you know that. You've come back a few times, haven't you? Yeah, so yeah, I don't know, just see how it heals and go from there. But yeah, I won't say never say never here anyways at this club, so we'll see how we go. Maybe we'll get Caleb back here.
All good, mate. Yeah. Thanks for catching up, brother. Catch up. How's it all looking?
Yeah, mate, look, we're excited. We've worked hard all year, so yeah, we're confident.
So, mate, you come back here. It's been, I think it's 10 years, since Ballina won a grand final here, and then they went on a bit of a roll. What does today mean to you guys, and what does it mean to the club?
For us as a group, we just want to go out on a high. I think we've been the best team all year, finished first. But, we feel like it's ours to lose. And for the club, it's great. It's good to be back, in the winning circle. They had that really hot streak for a while, and we've got a bunch of young kids here today that are outstanding. They're going to be here for the next couple of years. So, if we build it this year, I think that Ballina's in good stead for the next couple of years.
So what does it mean for Damien Sheridan? What's today? Like, win, lose or draw? Where does Damien Sheridan see himself after today?
Mate, this is my last game. I'm done. So go out with my best mate, Jess. That'll be pretty special. So, yeah.
Mate, all the best today. Get in all, mate. Thanks, and good luck. We're going to go in now. We're going to have a yak with the Ballina coach, Barnesy. Barnesy's well renowned for his camouflage. He goes to other clubs, coaching, training sessions. He sits in the background with his big bottle and sits there and watches all their sessions, writes everything down, comes back and portrays that to his team, and hopefully he wants to get a result from that. How's it shaping up today, Barnesy?
Yeah, g'day Chris. So yeah, good. The boys are ready to go. The week's been very good. No injuries. Everyone's happy. We're really looking forward to it. Being a home grand final.
Mate, we tried to get you on the podcast on Wednesday night, but there was an MIA. I'm not quite sure what happened, mate. Do you want to give us a bit of an insight as to why you were a no-show?
I'd rather not, but no, just got caught up. Let's go with that.
Yeah, just got caught up. So you're watching too much video, trying to work it all out, trying to get the game plans together.
Mate, just study and get ready for today.
So, mate, just on a serious note, what does it mean today to you personally, coaching this team? There's a lot of blokes here you've had a fair bit to do with, but what does it mean to yourself? What does it mean to you personally to be able to, have your boys run out on a home grand final today here at, your home turf here at Kingston Smith Park?
It is. It is pretty special. A lot of these boys have had it, 15 years ago, won an 18s comp, 10 years ago, 9 years ago, won comps with them. They're all, 90% of local juniors, and as you know, I think I've coached, about 80% of them in the past. A lot of footy with them, a lot to do with them personally, and their family and everything. So for the older blokes like Ciro, Jess, Ali Grant, who was here, Dan Gibbo, to come back, they just said, come back, give us one more year, we'll give you one. It was very, very pleasing to make the home grand final, and especially with those boys who are finishing up this year.
Mate, that's the most I've heard you say in 15 years. So on behalf of myself and the Big Foxy, mate, we want to say thank you for taking the time before the game, mate. It means a lot, and good luck today.
Right, thanks, Chris.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you. How are you?
Good, mate, good. Mate, big game today. You did it the hard way, coming from 5th spot right through. What does today mean to you, mate?
Yeah, today, definitely my age anyway. So it's a very special moment to be able to get to the GF. Looking forward to it, last game of the year after retirement after this, but definitely for us boys to come from behind where we come from, it's a special moment for us, our connection and our group.
So mate, you just said the word retirement, so this is the last game. 100%. So obviously for you, as you just said, it means a lot to you. This group, what's this group mean, mate? This group mean to you as a bloke that's been a part of the Coogin Club for a while now? You've played a fair bit of Queensland Cup. You're back here doing it where it all started, and hopefully trying to get a result today against the Ballon. What do you think about the Ballon, the team you're playing against?
Yeah, no, they're a good fit group. The group itself, we played them at the start of the year. It was a really close game, so it'd be good to see them today to see what they're like. And I think we're up for it and we're looking forward to it. And I think we got them.
That's all good, mate. Thanks for taking the time. Good luck today, mate. All the best, and hopefully you finish on a good note.
Thank you very much.
I'm here with Coogin head coach Bryce Purcell. Bryce, about a month ago when you were looking at the final series, would you think you would have come from 5th position to take on the Ballon Seagulls on the big day here today?
I was always in the back of our mind, but obviously we had to improve a lot of things, and we were just literally taking it 1 week at a time. We've been taking it 1 week at a time for about 8 weeks now, so yeah, it's a good day.
So you look at it from that match against the Blamble Jets when you were up 20, I think it was 18 points to 14, and then Kai Smallwood scores that 80-metre try. From that point on, the season was on the line, and a spot in the finals was on the line. And so does that bring more enthusiasm into the players, knowing that they've had to take the hard road to get here?
Well, I think it just made that last game against Cabba a must-win. So, and even at half-time you thought we were gone, but it just made that game a must-win, which, if we won the game against Blamble, would have changed our mindset. We might have gone into that do or die phase, but yeah, no, it was good. The boys dug deep and it was good.
So you're this deep into the finals. You're on grand final day. Any injury woes or whatnot?
No, only injury we got is Kane Lawton. It's a pretty big loss, but we haven't had him for the whole semi-final period. So it's a big loss, but we've got here without him, so we're just going to have to keep going without him.
What's the message to all the supporters up at Kingscliff?
Hopefully we bring it home for you, and if we do, we'll hopefully have a beer with you tonight sometime.
Right, so I know you're so proud to be here today. Good luck to the boys and for the Coogin Hornets. Hopefully they get the job done.
Thanks, mate.
Let's go!
Okay, here we are again, Les. This is the Aftermath. The Aftermath podcast of the NRRRL Grand Final weekend. We've got a couple of special guests on tonight. We've finally, I don't know how we did it, but we've finally got someone from New South Wales Rugby League that works in our area to come on. No, and I'm not going to, and it's not Tanya Booth. Just sort of say it straight up, but we will get her on at some stage. And we've got, well, he's becoming a bit of a regular.
Yeah, he likes the podcast.
Mark Harrison, the NRRRL Mufasa. So he's the head honcho for the NRRRL. Well, hopefully going beyond. I could be talking out of school here, but hopefully going beyond this 2023 season, which has been absolutely brilliant and great competition this year, and finished off. What a finish! Beautiful. We'll talk. We're going to get to that. We are going to get to it. So, guys, thanks a lot for coming on tonight. Good to have you both on to talk about, well, as I said, it's called the Aftermath podcast. It's the after the GF in the NRRRL 2023 Grand Final on the weekend just gone in all grades. We want to have a bit of a chat with you both about how you think it all went on the weekend. I'm not even going to go to my tips. I'm staying well away from them. I got one from, I'll just say it straight up. I got one from 4. But anyway, that one was, I rode home probably from about round 9 onwards.
How was it? Every team that went straight through to the grand final lost.
Well, that's what I'm hoping these guys are going to talk about. But you're going to try and beat him to the punch, but that's okay because that's what he does. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, we've got Mr. Wade Kelly over here from the New South Wales Rugby League. He's our what are you, Wadey? What's your title officially?
Zone manager, work with all the comps from the border down to the Hunter Valley. So great to jump on and talk about the NRRRL season.
No, mate, great to have you. First time on too, so it's your debut. It's just taken us all year to get you or Tanya here, but it's great to have you here, mate. So thank you very much.
First invite, and I guess I spent Sunday with you chewing my ear off, so may as well have another chat Tuesday afternoon as well.
No, it was good. Thanks for the beer again too, mate. It was actually very, very needed at the time. And then obviously, as I said, we've got Mark Harrison, the NRRRL president, on as well. So thanks, Harro, for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to be on.
No worries.
So, mate, we're going to get straight into it. The weekend that was. What do you think about the weekend, guys? What was your take on, I suppose,
everything?
What was your take? Right through the whole event.
I thought it was a cracking day of footy. I got there halfway through that 18s game that was obviously, two of the three best sides throughout the year. Blamble coming home with a wet sail, and Murbar played pretty well to start off with. The girls' game, it sounds like it was very high-quality game of footy with a little bit of excitement at the end there, with Blamble just able to scrape home, and then Coogin getting the job done in the first and reserve grade games, which were both really high quality. So I was really happy with how the day went. Harro, thoughts?
Oh, yeah, I couldn't be more happier. I said it last week. The boys asked me what I wanted out of the weekend, and I just said I'd be happy with a well-behaved crowd, and that is exactly what it was. Excellent day of footy, as Wade pointed out. The crowd was amazing. The atmosphere was fairly electric. Come the start of first grade, with some fantastic footy over the four clubs that were there. It was great.
Yeah, no, it really was, mate. I think the big thing for me to take away from the weekend was, mate, you've hit the nail on the head, mate. From game one, which was the Ladies League tag, and I do apologise because I'm not going to make out I knew the rules. I don't know the rules. Well, I do, but
you didn't at the time.
I need to learn, and no doubt Les will tell me more about that from the wonderful ladies, and I will say the wonderful ladies from Balamba who wanted to enlighten me on the rules through our Facebook site, and thankfully they will, because I'll be honest, I straight up don't know some of the rules. But yeah, mate, from game one, the Ladies League tag through to the under 18s, through to reserve grade, and then obviously through to that wonderful first grade game. But I couldn't believe everything was just. It was, how exciting was it? Just to be it. I probably would go back and say we did something different behind the mics, which is the commentary stuff. But just the day itself, you're right, Harro. Mate, it was absolutely brilliant. I mean, the crowd was great. Everything. I can't knock the day. I think it was a great day. What was your take on it, Harro?
Yeah, exactly that. It was just a fantastic day. I think the crowd was probably 3,500 to 4,000 all day. There was a few that left, obviously, after the two Balamba sides completed their wins. They took off to celebrate straight away. I think Moorbar did the same thing, but I would dare say that the views were also up on Bar TV with the actual quality of the game, not the quality of the commentary.
He's gone straight for the head.
Well, yeah, no, okay. That's fair.
Yeah, okay. Thanks,
couldn't get a word in, so I'll put that with Benji.
Yeah, okay. Mate, there's a bloke.
Nah, look, Ballina obviously do a good job. They've hosted plenty of grand finals, and I think they need to get a lot of credit for that as well. They run a good show. They had everything set up. It was like clockwork as well. So I think they obviously have plenty of experience, having run a fair few over the last few years, but do it really well. So.
I'll tell you what, I'm not joking about this. This is a serious conversation now. The only thing I will say is that the day before, both me and Les were very concerned, and it wasn't anything to do with the footy or the NRRRL. We actually got to view where we were supposed to commentate from, and I'll be honest, there was no way I was going to commentate from that point. 20 to 30 knot winds, and we were supposed to be going up on a cherry picker, and I can tell you right now, I've got vertigo, he's got height issues, and that gusty wind would have been definitely swaying point. If that was going to be the case, mate, we were definitely both out. And thankfully it ended up being...
We'll be crying.
Yeah, it ended up being very different on the day, and we actually ended up in a very nice booth up in the commentary box up there, so it was very good up there, and we got looked after quite well. So, again, I'd back up what you're saying, both Harrow and also Wadey, about the day. I think it was great all round, and I think credit must go to the Ballina Footy Club for the way they went about, getting that day organised. Mate, I just want to also pay credit to every team, mate, that took part in the grand finals in our Ladies League tag, Coogin and Balambil, obviously in the under-18s, Moolumbar and the Balambil boys again, and then Coogin and Ballina in the reserve grade, and then obviously followed by the same in first grade. But every team, mate, I know it's hard. Losing teams always take it a bit harder than the teams that won on the day, but I think every team can walk away with their heads held high. They've had a great season, and I think the results, have to go one way in the end, but I think every team can hold their head up pretty high with the way they went about their business on the weekend.
They certainly can.
So going into it...
Panicking at the end of the league tag side, myself and Tony Maluda and Belinda Martin, we all sort of looked at each other and looked at our watches and gone, well, this goes into extra time. We're going to run severely behind for the day. And then we're going to run and put that massive kick through. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, mate, I'm glad you mentioned that. I just want to go back. Yeah, we'll go back now and have a look at the games, game by game. So just on that league tag game, mate, very close. Obviously, Coogin got through first, as Les said. They were the first ones through to the GF, and the Balambil girls did it the hard way. I think they came from 5th spot. Is that correct?
That's right.
So
4th or 5th.
Came from 4th or 5th spot through to the GF. Momentum. We did talk about that, and Harrow, I think you come up and mentioned that word to me right at the start, and I went, we'll see how that plays out during the day. But, mate, that proved to be, I would suggest, a definite play on the day. Momentum was a great thing, and, mate, those Balambil girls, I think, what was it, 30 seconds to go?
Such a good game, wasn't it?
30 seconds to go. And
about 30 seconds, yeah.
Yeah. So, obviously, talk us through that last play. I'm going to ask you guys because I don't know the rules. What did take place in that last play of the day? Well, basically the defining play of the day, because it actually ended up winning the grand final for the Balambil.
Yeah,
girls.
well, Balambil were, I think they were really, really confident with the ball as well when they had it. Isabella Lee, who ended up getting the
player of the match, 13.
Player of the match, yeah. She every time she got the ball, took 1 or 2 steps forward, the whole team come forward. And I think she was a massive difference for Balambil. She had a lot of league experience, a lot of touch experience, and a lot of tag experience. So she was a difference in the day, I believe. But the last set of 6 coming down in the last minute and 45 seconds of play. And again, Isabella made a small break. And Brianna Raymond, with the speed she's got, she was on the outside of her and received the ball. I don't know, maybe half a metre in from touch. Right in front of us where we were sitting.
Yeah, it was actually.
She's kicked the ball over the top and then was tagged. Referees called play on, and she's gone ahead and scored the try.
Yeah, mate, and she took it around and she made it easy. She made it an easy conversion. She actually put it right down underneath the post. So, yeah. Well, again, I was calling it something different on the day, purely for the fact that Wade didn't tell me the rules before the game. But anyway, I've learnt now.
He's been educated.
I would take my hats off to the Balambil girls. I've definitely been educated because I was called on the back. I was saying tag made. Yep. And then obviously, yeah, well, mate, Jermaine, the referee. Look, I will say he actually had. I thought he had a pretty good game.
He did.
He definitely. And I didn't know that referees do this, but he went back and listened to the call or the end of the call. He definitely made a beeline for me. Just before the start of the just after the start of the under-18s, and he clarified. I will say that he wasn't pushing; he was just clarifying the rule. So thank you, Jermaine. And obviously, as Harrow just said, that was all she wrote, and Balambil walked away
10-4.
10-4. Wadey, what are you thinking about the 18s game, mate?
Mate, I got there with about half of it to go. Obviously, Blamble were on top at that point and managed to finish off the game. They've had a really good season. Mooloolaba, were the first ones through the grand final as well. I guess on that theme, they were the team that, I guess them and Seagulls were the two outstanding sides throughout the course of the season, finishing 1 and 2, but Blamble finished with a wet sail and obviously continued that form, as you said, momentum, just carried them through and they played really well to get that job done in the second half. I think Harry Chadburn got man of the match. They're 5'8".
His kicking game was brilliant. Like he really, and I think we all know how windy it was down there in the day, but he's probably one of the only actually the reserve grade halfback for Coogin as well took it. But the kicking game, they really took advantage when they needed to with that wind behind them. He was great, but I'll tell you, I actually thought someone else was the player of the day in that game, and that was the number 13, Van Gelden. I think, Harrow, I went to you a few weeks back, mate, and I asked a question, and I said, who is this kid? And I think it was over at Oaks Oval when he played there, and you definitely made me aware of who he was. Darwin kid originally. I think he's been in the Storm system, and then obviously he had a big game to get him. We'll go back to that game when he played at Oaks Oval, and that's when I asked Harrow the question, can we get me some information on this kid? But mate, I'll tell you, he was outstanding as well. I thought he was, but again, it was going to be hard to always pick a player of the day, but he was my player of the day. Not taking it away from young Chadburn, I think he was great. But Van Gelden wasn't far behind him as well.
2 hit-ups in the set of 6 a couple of times there, and he was very solid in defence as well.
He's a ball playing 13.
And he played a couple of games of first grade at the back end of the year as well, I believe. But Blamble did a pretty good job, and I think those kids that played first grade come back into their side and I think lifted, and I think Murbar had a couple as well. Young Bo Peasley played with the first grade throughout the season. He's another good young kid that obviously pushes them around the park really well. I think they probably missed Big Brady Turner. There's obviously the kids that are playing in the National Schoolboys Championship. So both teams had a couple out with that, I believe. So I think it does even itself out, but just that go forward that you could provide there, they just Blamble did a really good job of neutralising it and obviously made the most of their opportunities.
Oh, it's funny you say that. I think on the call on the day, I actually said to Les, I know the head of recruitment down at Brisbane, at Melbourne pretty well, Paulie Bunn, and my call out to Bunny was, mate, get this guy a ticket, put him on a plane and take him straight over to Melbourne. With the injuries they had on the weekend, they're going to need a Van Gelden in their team to actually do something this weekend. That's just my call. But yeah, mate, good tip into him, Harrow. Thank you for that, mate. And I think I'm going to be definitely one of those blokes that watches with interest over the next 2 or 3 years to see where this kid ends up, because I think I've got a big rap on him. I think he's good.
I also hope the local people, the Titans I'm talking about, obviously, and Tweed Seagulls, I hope they take an interest in him as well. No, he's not a local, but let's keep him a local.
Oh, mate, I'd definitely go out and back that call, mate. I think it's a good call. Yep. Maybe Wadey knows someone in the Titan system that they can talk to, but I like my old mate down at Melbourne, Paulie Bunn, and I'm going to be saying to Bunny, don't let him go. Oh, well, look, we've got to be honest here. Also, we know that they've got a link up at East Brisbane, and they've also got out at what's the other? They've also got a link out at out at Sunshine Coast. So Melbourne, as I'm talking about. But yeah, so look, good kid, mate. Really, really good. Yep. Reserve grade.
Good win to Blamble. So I think that was 28-10. I think the score ended up.
Let's jump into reserve grade. Harrow, I want you to maybe talk me a little bit through this one. I know you know a few blokes up there at Coogin, and I'm going to, as I said earlier, I rode this from probably about week 9 or 10, and the bloke next to me was going, oh, mate, I don't. You want me to know, his call was gone, and I went, no way, mate.
It was actually, I remember that. Yep.
Yeah, and I actually said at the time, these guys will go back to back.
Thank me later, Coogin, for the motivation.
Well, yep, and you can thank me for riding you all the way home, Cooch. So what do you think, mate? just on your thoughts, mate, on the game, being down the sideline, how good were they?
Unfortunately, I did miss parts of it because I was off trying to find the NRRRL guests and make sure they were all comfortable and doing the right thing, and by then. But from what I saw, Josh Ingold, their 7, he's from Berry, I think it is, the South Coast.
Okay.
He moved to Coogin 5 years ago, maybe. And his efforts on the weekend were just outstanding. His kicking game was one of the best I've probably seen for a long, long time, using the wing where it was appropriate.
What about Sorry, mate. What about his intercept?
Yeah,
mate. 10 metres out, mate. He was running on a treadmill, but the blokes behind him were on a bigger treadmill because they couldn't even get him. And he was. We honestly didn't think he was going to get there in the end. But
Harry Sibright nearly got him from the other side, but poor old Josh Ingold, I reckon if you hand time that, he's running a 25-second 100. So he looked like he was moving pretty well, and a few of the boys give up, and then he hit that big breeze.
Yeah, I know.
But mate, his kicking game was outstanding. He obviously pokes a few, not very high, but found the right space. And into that breeze was.
Yeah, he kicked a 40-20 too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was actually at a crucial part in the game. Harrow down, he kicked it down. I think there was like 10 minutes into the second half, and he put it down deep, into the corner, and we sort of didn't realise at the time, but we thought, that's a 40-20, and in that sort of condition, that's a back turner. You find it hard to come away, and they scored points off the back end of the next set.
Yeah.
So, mate,
to be up into that breeze is a massive effort, and then to have someone like that with such a good kicking game be able to just ride you home, I think once they got that lead up in the first half, it was going to be very difficult.
Harrow, you know a little bit about this one. I just want to say, for 2 weeks in a row, sitting in the commentary box, I've never seen I thought I was an animated coach, and I probably am at times. But mate, I love him, mate. I reckon he's. I just kept saying to Les, check out the coach, mate. He was absolutely entertaining. He's up there, dead set up there.
First grade coach is up there too.
Yeah, no, I like dead set. Their reserve grade coach. He's the most entertaining reserve grade coach He's up there. I love him. I reckon he's great.
Yeah.
Do you know a bit about him, Harrow?
Yeah, obviously I've been involved with Coogin for a few years, quite some time ago now, and I've got to know Mitch's personality, put it that way, over the last couple of years in this role. But he's, as I said to you on the weekend, he's just such a passionate person with regard to the game.
Yeah.
Passionate about the club itself, but I think more importantly, Mitch probably treats his players as dead set mates.
Yeah.
And you can feel that he's on the field with them when he coaches. He's passionate. He obviously, we've spoken to him about a few things. I'll leave it at that. But yes, very passionate.
Hey, Mitch, don't worry, because they probably have the same conversations with me at points. But anyway, no, it's all good.
My
I
job
think
for reserve grade was to sit with Mitchie and just remind him occasionally when things slipped out of his mouth that there might be kids watching, and Benji can probably hear you up behind him, and anything you say, Benji will probably say. So
yeah, I know. I learned a lot. I learned a lot over the last couple of weeks watching him. I thought, I need to curb some stuff, but it's good. Look, in saying that too, mate, I mean, I know the players go out and entertain us week in, week out, without a doubt, whether you're coaching or whether you're not. But I think it's also good if a coach has an entertaining component to them as well. It shows that passion that Harrow talks about. I think we all wish we had. Sorry?
Just the same as bellyache.
That's probably the only thing that I'd say is that I can't wait next year for Crozier Oval to reopen, and they've got a wonderful thing called a box up there, and I'll tell you, you can say whatever you want to whoever you want, and no one's going to hear you because they're soundproof.
Just getting back to the game, I think.
Oh, okay.
Enough of Benji. Getting back to the game, I think Coogins' defence was really good in the reserve grade game. I think they put Bowner under a lot of pressure, which Bowner's not used to, and they made a lot of mistakes. They failed to kick for touch twice, a few drop balls, and I think Coogins' big men were outstanding.
I want to put a big shout out.
Dooley,
Man,
Togo.
Les, what about man, your man? We love him, mate. Dooley.
He was good.
Oh,
He was good.
big
off the bench.
Dooley. He was brilliant. He stints when he came off the bench. He had like a 7-minute. He must have been told, you got 7 minutes. You go out there and do your job, and he did it to a T. He was brilliant.
Big man could play the ball quick, and then that allowed the half Ingle to
do his stuff.
control the game and get to his kicks.
There was a tactical move that was made 15 minutes in by the Coogin coach, Gene Slocky. They were, because up until that point we were a bit worried. Like, oh God, Ballina looked like they could take the ascendancy here. They put Gene Slocky on. I don't know who they replaced him with, but he went on to 6. And to be totally honest, he calmed it. He just calmed everything down. They seemed to get back to their structure. They seemed to do what they needed to do to get the result. And I know he's an ageing player. Experienced, but I'll tell you, he was really good when he went on.
I think he goes on to 6. Dennis goes into 9, which I think helps him as well. Off the back of a quick play the ball, they've obviously got a really good bench rotation where they all know their job. They're happy to do their 10, 15 minutes and come off and stay fresh and sub someone in, which, you saw it on the weekend. They did really well, which kept their line speed up, kept their, they all kept pretty fresh. I think Cam Roberts had a few stints off where he's coming off and he just said, I'll just do me 10 minutes and swap over. And they obviously know it well. And I think, to your point, Mitch got a few of those boys back that I think were semi-retired, and obviously Big Dooley crashed over for a try in the second half, which would have made
it was good. We caught that. That was brilliant saying that. I love when the big boys get out and get amongst it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Coogin too good in that one, 22 to 6.
And the other thing too to note with that Coogin reserve grade side, there's a few young kids too that I think will probably push for a first grade spot with some possible retirements over the next 12, 24 months. You got the 2 Roberts twins.
Are they twins?
Cooper and Bailey.
So they're twins?
Yep.
I thought they were cousins, but anyway, all good.
Yep. I think Cooper's going to make a fairly decent 9, and he can learn off what Dennis does when he goes into the 9 from there, and obviously learn off Batiste and Jackson Rowuda as well. Jai Barton, he probably should be playing fullback, but he's not going to fit in the 1 with Kempo there, the way he's playing. So there's a good future for those good young players. As well.
They're healthy up there, mate. I think that, and you're spot on, mate, with that.
Yeah.
I just think
if I could just have a shout out, I meant to phone Al Petty today to find out how young Jake was.
Yeah.
I haven't had that. That was a bit sickening, that. And again, Gene was right on the spot.
Yeah, no, it was good. That was actually really good. The way you ran. Obviously every club's got a blue shirt trainer, but the way you guys managed that has to be applauded. I think it was great. The way you guys were able to get out there and do what you need to do, look after young Jakey.
So all the best.
Sounded like he was very disappointed to not be able to get on the drink. I wonder if he stuck to that post game, because he was in all sorts when I got out there, and any I don't know, anybody that saw it. We
were just glad he got up.
Scary scenes when you see somebody go down, and to go down from getting hit in the head with a football is unusual as well. So hopefully Jakey's all right and didn't have too many beers over the last 48 hours.
All right, so 22 to 6.
22 to 6. Let's get on to the big one.
Who's first?
Who's first, guys? We've got our thoughts.
Well, it was what it could have been. Ballina likes to get into grind and use their speed and fitness at the back end of halves, and Coogin didn't let them do that. I thought Coogin played really well. I said to you, Benji, it's a two-try breeze, and to go in only 4-0 up, I think Ballina would have been very concerned after the Zeeble brothers got back to halfway off the kickoff. So I think that really set the tone for the second half, and Coogin showed, I guess, the potential they got when they turn it on. It's just Ballina's a really well-drilled, young, fit, quick side that when those big fellas in the middle for Coogin turn it on, it's very hard for anybody to stop them. So I don't think there's anything they could really have done.
Yeah, I thought the Coogin forward pack were outstanding on the weekend, and I think they really dominated Ballina in the middle.
Yeah, it's the first time, and I'd be interested to get Harrow's take on this. It's the first time I've actually seen from round one I know, you know, Wade, you probably think you got, well, you for one half of football, you had them under the pump. But their second half, well, no comment. But it's the first time I've actually seen the Ballina team from round one to GF not manage the pressure. They just really seem to. It's the first time I've seen them disjointed. There were plays they were doing that I just hadn't seen all year, and it's the pressure. I don't know whether it was the pressure of grand final or the pressure on the players being a home grand final, but there was just things in that game that I had not seen from a Ballina team all year.
I don't think Coogin allowed them to. I think they really turned up the heat in defence.
Yeah.
I think they just gave Ballina nothing.
Yep. What was your take, Harrow?
Yeah, I obviously I tipped Ballina because I thought just they were going to be too fit, too strong as well. I thought Coogin, they were certainly on a massive momentum drive and have the forward pack especially to win the grand final. But I just thought last week, thinking about it, that they might have run out of legs. They played massively well to beat Ballina, and I thought that might have been the end for them. But I'm fairly happy, of course, that they've won. I would have been happy with Ballina to win too, but
That's
3 tries in the grand final by 3 middle forwards.
I don't think. Well, Ballina was kept at 4 points. They haven't been kept at 4 points all year.
Yeah,
So that's a massive defensive effort, as we said. So Coogin need to be credited for that particular, turn up in defence, because even Coogin leading into the grand final, the game against Evans, there was 18 points scored against them. The game against Northern, there was 20 points scored against them by Northern. The game against Bilambil, there were points scored earlier in the game, and they had to fight back in those games, or if not, fight to hold a lead. So to go in to that game, and I think they would have been pretty confident going in the sheds. I think I said to you, Wade, if you're going in the sheds at half time, if you're Barnesy, you're going to be worried. What do you panic in the sheds and try and get your team to lift, or do you try and keep it calm? It was a hard one to say, but I can guarantee the Coogin shed at half time going in 4-0 down would have been quietly confident. And they came out that way, mate. They came out in that second half. They dominated that second half of footy.
Yeah, that second half showed what they've got, and I think it just took having everybody on the field fit and firing. And I think they've got some guys that can step up. That I think, talking to Bryce mid-year, they sort of, I guess his comment was that they sort of just turned up expecting to win some games. That they probably dropped a couple that they would think were unlucky, or that they probably should have won, but at the same time didn't quite get that grind on to get them home. I think Ballina's obviously got some very young halves, and probably they've been scoring 40 points a game. I think it was like throughout the course of the season they're averaging over 40 points a game. So I think they're used to being able to turn up and that happen. That when it doesn't, and you got to push it. I think that put them under pressure a little bit as well. That you saw a few things that were unbalanced, like trying to push a pass or trying to do a little bit much. That they're just not used to having to do that, because they're used to getting that roll on, Mickey Dwayne making a break or Zachy Beecher making a break up the middle and just scoring heaps of points. So I think Coogin obviously nullified that with some massive defence and had enough in the tank to come home with a win.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, guys. I had an interesting conversation, I'll keep this really brief, with a couple of Ballina dads of the players that played and another Ballina, a guy that's associated with the club as well today, and they said, "What do you think, Benji? What do you put it down to?" And interestingly enough, Wade, you've said it. Harrow, I think you've mentioned this at times as well, and both me and Les, and we had a chat. We had a good chat with Jess Perry last week before the game, and then also at the start of the season. The big thing for me is that yes, they pride themselves on their fitness and their work ethics around that. The comments before the game is, well, we are the fittest team in the competition. Jesse talked about the amount of work they were doing throughout that period where they had a game off, game on, game off. I'm just going to be, this is just me putting a coach's hat on, is sometimes you can actually fatigue yourself going into such an important game, and the intensity in doing that, can be dangerous. And the other thing for me out of that is that if it's at that level all the time and there's no, there's no fun factor in it, you actually can go into the game and then all of a sudden by the time you're finished you look and you blink and it's over. And that's that for me, reads a bit into it as well. I just think sometimes do you pull back a bit on that really hard work ethic and really just grind out some really good sessions with the ball. So yeah, it's a double-edged sword. But I actually look like I think 5 minutes into that second half, I just thought they were running around on very tired legs. So all that work. No disrespect to the people in the background of Ballina and who do that work, but sometimes you need to taper, not tape up. So that's just my coaching thought anyway. But that's it, guys. What was the score?
18-4.
18-4 in the end, and congratulations to the Coogin Hornets. I think no doubt they would. I don't know if they're still celebrating, but they would have been celebrating.
I believe they were at Kingy Bowls Club this afternoon.
Well, mate, if it was me doing what they did, honestly, I'd be going for the week. But them apparently.
I spoke to Mick Channels this afternoon, the president of Coogin.
Was he still sober?
Yeah, Mick's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Someone's got to supervise them.
Yeah.
He said there were still 2 players. He didn't know who they were. He said there were still 2 players in full kit and still going.
Mate, as I said, they deserve to celebrate as long and as hard as they want to because that was one hell of a 5th spot. And I'm going to be really honest. There's a few clubs, and we were one of them. We thought, we'll get them. Evans thought the same. Obviously, Balamble definitely thought that last weekend, and then they've gone through a period of football that you're going to probably look back on in 5, 10, 15 years' time, going, how good was that? And that's the reality. And those things you look back in your whole club, careers and whatever, and they're things you never ever forget. So, well done to everyone. And
they went in at 5th spot, as you said, but also got to remember too, at the end of round 15, they were sitting at 8th.
Yeah, mate, exactly, 100%. So
that's how close the comp was.
Yeah, an absolute massive effort, and everyone involved in the club and everyone involved in that team and that display on the weekend deserves to be credited. They've done. Hold your heads up, guys. You've done a really great job. And the Ballina boys, obviously, you can't discard what they've done this season. They've had a great season. They've, hosted a grand final. They turned up on the day. Yes, they didn't get the result, but they could be pretty happy with the season. I know they've got a few people that they won't have playing next year. There's a few retirements in that club as well. Over the next, 12 months, you won't see 3 or 4 of those guys around again, and potentially you'll see maybe a couple of guys go back up the coast as well. So it'll be an interesting time moving forward for the Ballina Footy Club. As I said, all the best to those guys, Maxie, and those guys that have been involved in that as well. So well done, everyone.
On behalf of Bingy and I too, we want to thank both of those teams because you got to catch up with a few of those boys behind the dressing room.
Yeah, we're going to watch it. We're going to watch a bit of that at the, before we finish up.
Podcast.
Yeah, so we did we did a bit of a roving mic section with the Ballina boys. We want to thank the Ballina coaching staff and players that were willing to have a chat with us, and the same for the Coogin. We actually got a chance to talk to the coach, and I actually got is it Jack Rawita? Is that his Jack? Yeah, Jack. Mate, what a good kid. How good is he? Apart from his playing ability, I caught up with him before the game. Mate, it was an absolute pleasure to play. He's a very smart young kid, that kid. I don't know what he does for a living outside of footy, but he's got a brain on him. And
he works for the NRRRL, Bingy. I'm sure.
Oh, really?
That one.
Does he really?
No, he's a great kid. I was lucky enough to work with him in that role as well. And messaging him today, he said that he was the one that said they were on the way back to the pub. So, mate, he's a great kid, and he's.
So he actually does. You're not G'ing me up. You're not G'ing me up. He does work for the NRRRL.
He does.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, well, he's definitely got a smart. Keep him NRL. I'll tell you now. He's one to hold on to.
He's Kel mentions protege. They like to refer to him as up this way. So he's he does a good job. Got a good relationship with the schools as well, mate. Very flexible.
Yeah, no, that's good, mate. And I actually caught up with one of the Coogin legends, Lukey Dumas, mate, Dewey. And I'll tell you, he was so good on the weekend. He's well renowned for his attacking ability, but how good was he defensively? He was absolutely brilliant. But I'll tell you, funnily enough, that interview, and hopefully we get to see it tonight, but he he was, and I actually said this up when I went back to you. I said, mate, Lukey Dumas was so confident in getting that result today. It was eerie. Everything he talked to is exactly what they executed. And I didn't catch up with him after the game, but when I do catch up with him, because I know he's actually working with a young bloke now, but he may not have turned up. It was supposed to be his first day of work yesterday with the Clontarf program up there in Tweed River High. So if he didn't turn up, look, please forgive him on his first day. But he was so confident, and I actually got a bit of a buzz from him thinking they're going to do it today, based on because he's not like that, as you know, Harrow, if you know Dewey. He's a very quiet bloke. He never talks a game up, and he did it on the weekend, and he got the result. So well done, Dewey. But anyway, guys, what I want to say now is to both you guys from the New South Wales Rugby League perspective, Wadey, thank you, mate, for taking the time out tonight.
No worries. Thank you very much for having us. Thanks for the show.
Giving us your insight, mate. And again, Harrow, mate, you're becoming a bit of a regular, and hopefully next year we get to keep you around, mate, in the role that you're doing. I don't know what your thoughts are in that, but if I've got a vote, I'm saying yes. But, mate, you've done a great job. The NRRRL, mate, you all need to be applauded. You've all had a great year this year. It's been a great competition, and I still say it, and I don't care what anyone says. It's the best competition in New South Wales country, and you can hold your hats up and say and say you've done a great job, mate. Well done.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate that.
Have a good night, guys, and great to have you on.
Thanks,
You too. Thank you.
Guys.
See you, guys.
Cheers.
How good's that? Catching up with those guys, mate.
Oh, mate.
Well, mate, are we going? I don't know if our.
Us.
Oh, they would
They've
be,
been hanging out with us for a few days, haven't they?
mate. I've got to hang out with Wade this weekend in the knockout. Coming up on Friday and Saturday. So I think by the end of Sunday, if I don't see Wade for a few weeks, it'd be pretty damn good. It gives me enough stick when he's around me, and look, it's actually good to have the relationships with these sort of guys from a podcast point of view. It gets an opportunity for those people in the lounge chairs to really, get to know who these people are outside of their roles.
Yep.
But yeah, so it's been great. I'd love to go to, I don't know if we can, but we did the roving mic section on the weekend, and I'm hoping tonight we're going to get a roll on that. If we can, I'm looking over at our media manager. I don't know whether he's had the chance to put them up yet, and he hasn't. They will go on. You'll see it towards the end of the podcast. You'll see the interviews that we did on the weekend with Barnesy, the coach from Ballina, and also their captain, who took the time out before the game in a retiring captain, I will say, in Damien Sirenen. And then obviously, as I said, the coach for the Coogin Hornets.
Injured player Ali Grant as well.
Injured player Ali Grant. Good insight into Ali's, start to the season, and then obviously being a part of that the weekend. He's hosting the boys this week, the Mad Monday yesterday. Yep. And then obviously...
The Coogin boys?
Yeah, the Coogin boys, mate, in young Jack Rawita and Lukey Dumas, mate. They were great to catch up with and just to catch... And then obviously the coach. So he's a great bloke as well. So he's done a great job, and no doubt he'll be celebrating with his team, over the next couple of days.
So again, thanks to Coogin and Ballina and all those boys that done those interviews for us. That was great.
Mate, it was actually really good, and they took the time out to do that. So thank you very much, guys. I really do appreciate it. And you'll see that tonight at the end of our podcast. And mate, we had another job on the weekend.
Yeah.
What was it?
Commentating.
Mate, we were we stitched up.
I was in all sorts of trouble. I didn't know we were doing the same.
Yeah, mate. We didn't realise that we were actually doing the ladies' league tag, the under-18s, and the reserve grade commentary, as in the Gingy and the Foxy duo. What an experience that was.
That was great, wasn't it?
Mate, I actually... That's funny, just for the viewing audience. Foxy has a role. He had a bit of a role with me this year, assisting me in first grade at Northern, and I've had a coaching role. But I'll tell you what, to get an opportunity to put the kid on, to be mic'd up, to commentate a game, to get to view a game from a different angle, how good was that?
That was really good.
Mate, I made a blunder in the league tag, and we'll get to that in a minute. We talked to...
I don't believe it, did you?
Oh, I'm going to admit. Look, I'm going to have to admit it.
One job. Mate.
Okay, my media manager's looking over here and he's telling me you only had one job, Benji.
Mate,
one
when you were down
job.
doing the interviews, I was in all sorts of troubles. I was there by myself for a bit. I'm texting you saying,
Was that the under 18s?
Hurry up. I think it might have been Reggie's.
Reggie's? Yeah, it was.
And I'm there going, hurry up, hurry up. I feel lost by myself. I need my right-hand man.
Yeah, mate, it was. I'll tell you what.
Well,
I've had
Dwayne even jump in with me.
unbeknown to you and unbeknown to our media manager, Goffey, I've been inundated. I know you know I'm not on Facebook.
No.
I've been inundated with phone calls.
Yeah?
I've been inundated with text messages.
Yeah, what have they been saying?
Mate, I thought they were giving it, mate, it was all positive.
Oh, good.
Telling us how good the call was. Are we doing any more for Bar TV? You know, are we looking to do this into the future? And, mate, my answers, after I was overwhelmed by the positivity, I actually think we need to reassess ourselves beyond our coaching and managing roles after this season, and then going into next season. Obviously, we're going to take on board and we're going to make the podcast bigger and better 2024.
We've got all sorts
of ways, mate. We've got some, mate. Yeah, we've got plans that would blow your mind.
But if you want to hear us again,
yeah,
we're commentating
this weekend, mate. Stay tuned. You can get it through Mark Goff Media Sport. You can also get it through the Northern United Facebook page. But, mate, we're going to be commentating at the the Lismore 2023 Aboriginal Rugby League knockout to be held at Oaks Oval and Crozier Oval.
Both ovals.
The venue. We're reopening the venue for the Lismore City Council and for the Lismore public. Look, if you're an avid rugby league supporter and you can't get enough of the game you love, we've just had the NRRRL All Grand Finals play itself out. We're going to go straight into the knockout. We've got Friday.
Mate.
We got Friday. We've got the women's rugby league knockout. Les is going to take us to the draw. We've got starting at 12 o'clock on Friday on Oaks Oval. We're going to get the draw up here now. Les is going to tell what's the draw look like, mate, this weekend.
So
we've got 6 teams.
Like
We've got
6
six teams participating.
6 teams. So field 1, we're going to kick off at 12 o'clock with the Tweed Connection Stingrays up against the Nullingar Dubs United.
Mate, I'm hearing big things about the Nullingar Dubs United. It's a mix of experienced ladies and a lot of good. Well, I'm going to say the youth that's involved in this Nullingar Dubs United or Nullingar Dubs United are the up and coming future of not just Indigenous rugby league, but they're the upcoming future of rugby league on the Northern Rivers. I think you're going to see some names rolling out for that team this weekend that are going to definitely play a role in years to come in the WNRL. I'll go out now and say that.
All right. Game 2, mate, and my apologies if I get these pronunciations wrong like you did the other night.
I'll fix it up for you.
So, game 2 at 12:45 on field 1 would be Dungari Badar. Badare?
Yeah, do you know what Badare means?
No.
Dolphin.
Okay. So, my apologies.
Dungari Badare.
Dungari Badare versus Patsy Gordon Memorial.
Yep. From down at the Clarence Valley Way. Yep. Patsy Gordon Memorial. And then 2 teams get the bye into the next round, which is Norma Collins Memorial. Actually, it's Norma Collins Shorty Memorial. Sorry. Yep. And Cabbage Tree Island. Yep. So there you go, the CTI girls. So they'll play the winner out of round 1. That would be into a semi-final phase. So they'll go. It's a straight out knockout. It's not a round robin. It's the way it is. That's why it's called a knockout. There's no round robin. These 2 teams will flow through, or the winning teams in round 1 will flow through to the semi-final games between those 2 teams you just mentioned. What's our time frames on these games, mate? What's the time? So the second round games will kick off at 2:15 and then 3:15. Yep. And then the Final.
Final will be played on Sunday.
Yep.
At 11:30 a.m.
There you go. So that's the draw. That's the draw for the Lismore Aboriginal Rugby League knockout for 2023 for the women's section of the draw. Let's go in, mate, and have a look. Let's talk about the men's draw.
Okay, game 1. Murray John Memorial up against GLC Memorial.
That's the Gordon Copeland Memorial team.
Okay.
And I'm going to say that's going to be one hell of a game because it's a lot of family orientated. The Gordon Cope Memorial team comes from out at Western New South Wales, Moree. So they're up here representing, the family. It's a memorial team. But here's the interesting thing. The Murray John Memorial, more than half that team are related to the people in the Gordon Cope Memorial team. So a bit of a family affair, the first game.
There you go.
What time's that game, mate?
That game's 8:30 a.m.
At Crozier.
At Field 1.
That's on Oaks Oval.
Oaks Oval. Also at 8:30 on Field 2, you got Casino All Blacks up against the Yambora Roos.
Ooh, there's a game to watch. Foxy Roberts up against the Grant Brown.
So game 3 on Field 1.
That's on Field 2, did you say?
Yes, Field 2.
So that's Crozier Oval.
So the 9:15 games on Field 1, we've got Torrens Descendants up against the Victor Wright and Edley Vale Memorial.
Yeah, the Dungutty boys all the way from Kempsey.
And the other game on Crozier is Cubberwee Connections up against, can you pronounce this one for me? Gumbangi
Yangai. So there's two teams. Obviously Cubberwee Connection are a Lismore-based team representing the mob here from Widjabul and also the community of Lismore, but representing our original community there where we lived or where our family lived or descendants, which is out at Cubberwee Mission. And the team they're playing again was Gumbangi Yangai. So it's the Dean Jarrett Memorial team. Obviously, John Jarrett is heading up that team. It's a combination of the guys from Nambucca region and from what I hear, Warrabinda.
Yes, and then our next game's at 10 o'clock. On Field 2, we have Mulla Raiders versus Niable Brothers.
So Mullabugama out at Bayugal and Nine Bull Brothers?
Nine.
Yeah, which is representing the Ballina Cabbage Tree Island area.
Yep. Our other 10 o'clock game on... Sorry, is that Field 1 or Field 2?
Field 1. That'll be on Field. If the other one was on Field 2, this is Field 1.
Okay.
Even though I think it's just a rewrite.
Stony Gully. I'll just say who's playing who.
Yeah, just play it. Yep.
All right. So the Country Coastal Brothers will play the winner of Casino All Blacks and Yambaroos.
Country Coastal Brothers. I'm hearing a lot about that team.
Yep.
There's a lot of Queensland Cup players, and I'm hearing a couple of NRL players playing in that team. Braden Trindle could be the halfback for that team this weekend. Obviously, Cronulla no longer in the NRL, so Braden, you're going to see a whole layout of NRL players plastered across. So any of those young kids and families that have the opportunity or don't get the opportunity to watch a lot of our NRL, or they do get to watch them on TV, but to see them live, mate, get down to Oaks Oval venue this Saturday, and you're going to see a lot of your NRL stars in the men's draw.
Yeah, so Cabbage Tree Island will wait to play the winner of the Murray John Memorial and GLC Memorial.
Yep.
Stony Gully versus Lismore Wanderers.
So Stony Gully representing the Kyogle, the Walker boys.
The Tablum Turtle Divers will await the winner of the Torrens Descendants.
Ooh.
Victor Wright and Edley Vale Memorial game.
Yeah, that could be an interesting game. If the Torrens Descendants get through, that could be a very local derby because it's all one mob.
Julie's Rabbitohs versus Torrens Connections.
Yeah, Julie's Rabbitohs, I think from down at the Coffs Harbour region. And who they playing, sorry?
Torrens Connections.
Torrens Connections. I think is it Torrens Connection? Yeah, well, the Torrens Descendants and the Torrens Connection, they're all family-orientated teams, so all representing that Western Bundjalung area.
Newcastle All Blacks will await the winner of Cubberwee Connections and Gumbangi.
Well, you know what happens every time NAB get Gumbangi Yangai? You know what happens every time NAB gets drawn out? Everyone goes, ooh. And that's exactly what happened at the draw. So I think the NAB side that's coming down playing this in the knockout this weekend. And thank you to the Newcastle All Blacks. It shows a lot that they're not just worried about hosting the event, which is a major, I think that's a big thing for them. But, mate, they also represent little knockouts like this and give back,
knockouts.
which is very rare. So thank you to the Newcastle All Blacks, and I have no doubt they'll bring a very strong side.
Yep. So they'll be awaiting the winner of that game. And then our last game here is the Inverell Roosters versus Steve Williams Memorial.
Yep, the Steve R. Williams Memorial team, obviously representing that Corica and the Williams family. It's a memorial team. And then the Inverell Roosters. So that's a team made up of, I've got family members playing for those teams. For the Inverell Roosters, they're a team from out at Inverell and representing Inverell and Tingha.
Yep.
So, yeah, Tingha. Yeah, Nathan Blacklock country.
So if you want to have a look at
Preston Campbell.
If you want to have a look at the times and the fields of locations of where your team's playing, jump on the Northern United Facebook page.
Oh, yeah, jump on and have a look.
And the draws all on there. And I think, Gingy, you may have some draws at the gate coming
There
in.
will be draws at the gate. Coming through the gate this weekend, you'll be able to pick up a copy of your draw. So anyone that pays through the gate, obviously, you'll get your draw. Well, you don't have to pay for the draw. But, when you get on your entry, you'll see the draws there. Just take one at your will and you'll know what's going on, and you can actually do that little thing that we all do when we go to the knockout, is whoever wins, we write the names down and we get it right through to that last game. And
Uncle Whistler loves doing that.
Yeah, well, he'll be there doing it. Don't worry about that. He's going to be supporting two teams this weekend, Uncle Whistler. He'll be supporting, obviously, the Cabestry Island team, but he'll also be supporting the Nine Ball Brothers team, I'm hearing. So he's got family playing in both teams. And just in that, as I said earlier, mate, there's going to be a huge number of NRL players taking part in this weekend's knockout, and that just adds more excitement to the event. Obviously,
I'm pumped.
The Saturday games will flow through. There will be a semi-final played, two semi-finals played on the Sunday morning between the men's competition, and then obviously the winners out of that go through and play in the final. I think the final's scheduled for about, I think it's 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon down at Oaks Oval, and all the Oaks Oval will be the number one ground, and Crozier Oval will be the number two. And I went down today with the council, Lismore City Council, and actually did a walk through the venue. And I'll tell you what, I know there's still a long way to go for the venue to be finished completely, and it will be one immaculate venue, I think, once fully completed. But to have the opportunity to open that venue, as a major event is something special. I can't wait. It's going to be exciting times. And for those other people that can't make it, don't worry. You can link into the Mark Golf Media Sport page and then also the Northern United page, and you can link on and you can listen to the commentary team of the Gingy and the Foxy. Well, actually, you're not going to be with me on the Saturday until you get... Here's the announcement. The big Foxy will be taking part in the event as a player as well. Mate, the only thing I can say is...
2 minutes.
Mate, between you and me, I don't care how many minutes you're playing, but I'm on the commentary and I can't wait. I cannot wait. So Foxy will be playing in the event and commentating.
I found a pair of boots.
He may be able to commentate late on Friday afternoon in the semi-final games. But I'll be there with special...
Oh, you'll hear me. He's puffing and
Look,
puffing.
I just want to put a bit of a shout out there to anyone that's interested in commentary, any young person that, wants to get into this space. Look, hit us up on our Facebook site, either through the Mark Golf Media Sport or alternatively through the Gingy and Foxy Facebook site. And I can tell you now, we're actually... Look, this didn't happen for us, but we're here now. We do it. We're into the commentary. We love doing what we're doing. But we want to also bring the next generation of commentators through. So anyone that wants to come and be a part of our commentary team.
Any women?
Any ladies, particularly on the Friday. Look, put it out there. Get in contact with us. Make yourself known. Give us your number. We'll get in contact with you. And then we'll actually get you up for some guest commentary. Yeah. And then we can, if you want to, make this as a part of your footy journey, we'd love to encourage and support and mentor. We're mentors now. How about that?
Yeah.
2 years into commentary.
We still don't know what we're doing.
We are. Look, I'll tell you, mate. We've been on Bar TV. Hopefully, touch wood. We're still waiting to hear back from the knockout. I don't think we're going to get there, but if we are, no doubt we'll be there.
Worldwide.
We are worldwide. We're in New Zealand. We heard on the weekend. We're over in Canada, America. So we're out there. We are. Well, Les is now. He's not just a Fox. He's Mr. Worldwide. There you go.
Just a quick question, Benji.
Yep.
Do you know if they got that big Foxy salad rolls on the way?
Yes. They do. Mate, I can tell you now, there is going to be...
Man, Goffy, we're right.
The canteen Goffy, just so you're aware, will be fully functional this weekend. So for those people that... Oh, look, I will say this. To those people that came along and gave us feedback last year from an event point of view, we want to say thank you, because we do know that last year there was a bit of conjecture about the vendors. There will be maybe not the amount of vendors that we had last year, but we will be providing a canteen with our normal canteen prices. It is an alcohol-free event, so we're not giving away free alcohol, by the way. So when we say it's an alcohol-free event, there will be no alcohol to be consumed inside the fenced or outside the fenced areas. Obviously, the whole precinct of this venue now has been an alcohol-free zone. It was an alcohol-free zone even before our event. So that'll be policed. We'll have security on hand. We're not there to harass and intimidate. It's more about respecting the signage and the precinct being an alcohol-free event. We want to make sure we keep it. This is a community and family event. We want families to come and feel, like they can be at an event without having any incidences or anything occur due to alcohol. So, yeah, look, the event, it's the same as the...
Great weekend, isn't it?
It's the same as the big knockout, drug and alcohol-free events, and that's the way, and it's a family and community-orientated event. So, look, we can't wait for it. It's going to be huge.
Everyone that watches the podcast, if you're not doing nothing, get up there and watch some footy.
It's going to be the first time back in Lismore since COVID and the floods. So
I think that's a wrap, Gingy.
Yeah, mate. We want to say thank you to all of our viewers that have been with us all year. Thank you so much. It's been a great experience for me and Les. First year of the Gingy and Foxy podcast. I know you tolerate us at times.
Are we going to have one more knockout wrap?
We're going to have one more knockout wrap next weekend to wrap that up, and we'll also get some people in to come in next week to talk about the big knockout and give us some information in that space. We'll get maybe Jace Munro again and Jakey Briggs to give us updates on that. But to all our viewing audience, thank you so much for the year. It's been absolutely sensational.
To all our NRRRL clubs.
Oh, brilliant.
Volunteers.
Yep.
Everyone that just works so hard to put that competition together. It's been a great year.
Yeah, we've really enjoyed
it.
Yep.
Coogin Hornets Premiers 2023.
Well done.
I think that's a wrap, Gingy.
And it is, mate. The last thing for me in saying that too, before we go, if there's any advice, anything you think might be worthwhile for me and Les to look at in relation to the podcast going into next year, please hit us up on our Facebook site. If not, you can contact us through the Mark Goff Media Sports site as well. Any advice, good, bad or otherwise, is welcomed on how we can improve this into the new year next year. We take that on board.
Yep.
So, again, thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. Stay tuned as well. You'll see the interviews from the weekend's game with the coaches and the captains and players. Please look into that, and you'll have a bit of fun with that as well. Thank you, everyone. That, my friend, is a wrap. So, well done, everybody, and we'll see you on the other side.
Second try of the match. Third one ordered for both teams. That's Joel. Second phase. I want to get the footy here. I'll get it a 5-5 line. Now, let's see what Balmain can do with our own red zone.
Let's go! Yeah, cheers.